It's tough period for people without energy, but anyway, we are thankful to you and partners. And of course, we will discuss achieving a just end to the war. We must end this war justly and for peace to return as soon as possible. We need a second peace summit this year. Thank you for participation. And we are counting heavily on America's support in this. God bless America. Slava Ukraini.
We will stay with you, period. Thank you, press.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. President, is your decision to stay in the race final?
And the fact is that for the past few months, the battlefield in Ukraine has shifted, but Ukraine stopped Russia for Kharkiv, number one, and you should be complimented for that. Number two, you've blunted Russia's advances. You've imposed significant cost on Russia, and you made it clear Russia will not prevail in Ukraine, will not prevail in Ukraine. Ukraine will prevail. And I want you to know we're going to be with you every step of the way. 2 days ago, I announced a historic donation of air defense equipment to Ukraine. Today, I'm proud to announce new security assistance package for Ukraine. This will be the 8th package I've authorized since we've signed the National Security Bill. The Secretary of Defense, we can talk about what the details of all that are. I signed it yesterday, or last night, I guess. And we're working with our NATO allies to ensure Ukraine is flying F-16s this summer. And we show the stand with Ukraine.
Statement and personal statement following the Russian strike on the children's hospitals, direct hit by Russian missile. That is why we greatly appreciate your decisions to strengthen our air defense, the 5 new Patriots and other dozens of other systems. And we have, and I want also to speak today how we can continue the support, and I also want to discuss with President how we can quickly and decisively stop Russian terror with this big problem for us. It's guided bombs, and of course we need some quick steps, some to lift all limitations for our Ukrainian soldiers. And of course we are thankful for that you helped us to save our energy. It's a tough period for people without energy, but anyway, we are thankful to you and partners. And of course, we will discuss achieving a just end to the war. We must end this war justly and for peace to return as soon as possible. We need a second peace summit this year. Thank you for participation. And we are counting heavily on America's support in this. God bless America. Slava Ukraini.
We will stay with you, period. Thank you, press.
Thank you.
Mr. President, is there a final? Is your decision to stay in the race final?
And the fact is that for the past few months, the battlefield in Ukraine has shifted, but Ukraine stopped Russia for Kharkiv, number one, and you should be complimented for that. Number two, you've blunted Russia's advances. You've imposed significant cost on Russia, and you made it clear Russia will not prevail in Ukraine. Will not prevail in Ukraine. Ukraine will prevail, and I want you to know we're going to be with you every step of the way. 2 days ago, I announced a historic donation of air defense equipment to Ukraine. Today, I'm proud to announce new security assistance package for Ukraine. This will be the 8th package I've authorized since we've signed the national security bill. The Secretary of Defense, we can talk about what the details of all that are. I signed it yesterday, or last night, I guess. And we're working with our NATO allies to ensure Ukraine is flying F-16s this summer. And we show the world that we stand with Ukraine now and in the future. So, Mr. President, thank you again for being here. We got a lot of work to do together, and I yield the floor to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you very much for the invitation to summit, and thank you for such strong news about new security package. I'm grateful to you, your team, your administration, of course, Congress, both parties, both chambers, and all Americans for their vital and your strong support of Ukrainian people. Together, we are saving lives of our people. You mentioned about Kharkiv. Thanks to your support and thanks to our soldiers. Really, it was tough work, but they did it, and. Then following the Russian strike on the children's hospital in Kiev. Yes, this is our largest children's hospital, and it was direct hit by Russian missile. That is why we greatly appreciate your decisions to strengthen our air defense, the 5 new Patriots and dozens of other systems. And we have, and I want to also to speak today how we can continue the support. And I want to also to speak today how we can continue the support. And I also want to discuss with President how we can quickly and decisively stop Russian terror with this big problem for us. It's guided bombs. And of course, we need some quick steps, some to lift all limitations for our Ukrainian soldiers. And of course, we are thankful for that you helped us to save our energy. It's a tough period for people without energy, but anyway, we are thankful to you and partners. And of course, we will discuss achieving a just end to the war. We must end this war justly and for peace to return as soon as possible. We need a second peace summit this year. Thank you for participation. And we are counting heavily on America's support in this. God bless America. Slava Ukraini.
We will stay with you, period. Thank you, press.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. President, is there a final? Is your decision to stay in the race final?
Thank you.
strategy, and it is symbolic to repeat them now here on the eve of the NATO Summit in Washington. Time passes, but more and more people reflect on what President Reagan said, what he did, and what he changed. And these are the words about America. America, which the world values, is grateful to, wants to see leading the world as only America can. Reagan delivered this speech on February 23. The next February date, the 24th, but in completely different era, in 2022, has become the day of the greatest challenge both to Reagan's legacy and to the rules-based world order, the order that President Reagan wanted to preserve at any time. Is it preserved now? Ladies and gentlemen, let's be, and I want to be, candid and frank. Now everyone is waiting for November. Americans are waiting for November in Europe, Middle East, in the Pacific. The whole world is looking to autumn, looking to November. And truly speaking, Putin awaits November too, but killing and destroying to get ready, to be ready for everything what November might bring. Even the anniversary NATO Summit, which should become a top event, does not indeed look strong in the media in contrast to what is expected from November. It seems that people do not even notice that NATO has expanded by 2 new countries at once. And this is a historic event, but it is in the shadows of another story. It's time to step out of the shadows, to make strong decisions, work, to act, and not to wait for November or any other months to this end. We must be strong and uncompromising all together. And first of all, America. And first of all, the leaders of America. And the President of the United States as a leader of the free world. To be uncompromising in defending democracy. Uncompromising against Putin and his coterie. Uncompromising to every possible terror. Exactly what all Ukrainians were on the 24th of February 2022. Millions of the people of the world and millions of Americans, exactly what President Biden and the Congress were on the 24th of February. I'm okay. Good. And when Putin decided to break everything dear to us, we all acted as one. We didn't wait a single day and even minute. We were surviving every day, and we did survive. Then the world saw that Putin could lose, and democracy can win even when it seemed impossible. Then what happened now? When did it step into the shadows? When did one start thinking that it's better to delay than act? That partial solutions are better than victory? And when it started to appear that to defend freedom is allegedly unsafe, and that to put Putin in place for blackmailing the whole world is allegedly unprofitable. When and why did it happen? The world can't be secure without America. America cannot be a leader and a world dream maker without caring for world affairs. America should not shy away from its strengths.
It is America that keeps the freedom for the world. That's why the world values America. America which acts. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been 45 years since President Reagan left the White House, but we still return to his words and his actions. And this is what was imprinted in world history, in the experience that was gained then and still helps us today. And even in the speeches we look back on, the power of Reagan's words came from what America did and how correctly America used time. As a result, in our European history and in US history, Reagan means hope, and he still does, and he had it. And now we all need exactly this, leadership that does not wait for any members, but acts now, acts every day strongly so that life wins. And so that our enemies, such as Putin, fear our actions. A few examples for you. In May, June, we achieved an important victory. We stopped the Russian advance on Kharkiv, the second largest Ukrainian city, located very close to the Russian border. The Russian army was ordered to get into artillery fire range to shell Kharkiv. But the courage of our men and women, as well as the American permission to strike military targets in Russia, got the job done. And I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful to President Biden for this permission and to everyone in the Congress who helped. This Russian advance has stalled, and we are pushing the Russian army out of areas near Kharkiv. We also destroyed the launches of Russian missiles that had been hitting Kharkiv for more than 2 years on a daily basis. And this gave Kharkiv protection from missile strikes. Imagine how much we can achieve when all limitations are lifted. Similarly, now we can protect our cities from Russian guided bombs if American leadership made a step forward and allows us to destroy Russian military aircrafts on their bases. This will also yield an instant result. And we are waiting for this step. And we can significantly limit Russian actions in southern Ukraine and push the occupier out of there if American leadership assists us with the necessary deep strike capabilities against Russian military and logistics in our Ukrainian Crimea. And we are talking about this to all our partners, and all these steps would strengthen us as today exceptional decision of the US and partners to provide Ukraine with additional 5 Patriot air defense systems and dozens of others, and prioritize air defense interceptors for Ukraine. Ukrainian people are grateful for that. Thank you so much. And our actions to attain peace. We held the first peace summit attended by 101 countries and international organizations, and I'm grateful to the US for participating. Putin, in response, held his own summit, a war summit, in Pyongyang, in pair with Kim Jong-un, just to have more artillery, missiles, and mines so that Russia can hold on at least until the end of the year. Although he does receive weapons, Putin still shows how much weaker the conspiracy of dictators is compared to the power of a free world. We must react firmly. We must and can organize the second peace summit this year based on the peace formula, even more powerful and truly decisive. We need the support from the US. Ladies and gentlemen, today in several of our Ukrainian cities, Kyiv, Lviv. The mourning was announced in memory of the victims of the Russian missile strike. It happened yesterday, and during rush hour, more than 40 missiles of various types. One hit the children's hospital, specialized hospital where children with the most complex injuries and diseases were rescued from the hands of death. Cancer, heart diseases. 43 people were killed by this attack, almost 200 wounded. Russia always knows where its missiles hit, always. A direct hit, and the hospital building was destroyed. Imagine these doctors, ordinary people, rescuers, all together, clearing the debris, trying to save as many lives as possible. Did any of them wait? Did anyone who found themselves under the rubble ready to wait months? No, of course not, because it's senseless. Because when it is needed to save a life, what you do, you save the life. When it is needed to beat enemies, you beat enemies. You act, you prevail. This is how you win wars. And this is who Ukrainians are. And that is why I'm proud of Ukrainians, and I'm proud to be Ukrainian. And this is how we can defeat Putin. How much longer can Putin last? The answer to this question is right here in Washington. Your leadership, your actions, your choice, the choice to act now. And even these days, the NATO Summit, which has to become a strong event, strong decisions are needed. And when we are waiting for them, and when we are counting on them, for 75 years, Europeans could be confident that no matter the friction within the alliance, no one, when talking to Russia, would trade the membership of European nations. But why does Moscow hope for this now? And why do the words Ukraine is a NATO member cause more fear not in Moscow? For decades, the world has relied on the principles of the territorial integrity of states and inviolability of nations' borders. But will these principles remain in force? We, in Ukraine, and all other neighbors of Russia, including those to whom America has alliance commitments, need answers. Our people are doing their best, the best of what is available to us in Ukraine. And we have proven more than once that the more we have, the harder it is for Putin to make war. He still thinks that war might pay. He still thinks that humiliating America might pay. During all his rule, he has been trying to humiliate America and break the lives of free nations. His personal story must finally end so that the story of peace becomes lasting. Together with America, the world is capable of doing the right things when we all act strong enough, determined enough, and this must be our strategy. Exactly this, and right now, with all the American power that no Putins can repel. Because America, as you know, is too great for small deeds. Don't wait months. America can be great every day. Thank you so much for your support.
Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Brett Baer of Fox News.
Mr. President, good to see you. Good to see you again. Thank you. I think we're going to try these handheld microphones.
Okay.
Just to sound better. To sound better. It is great to see you.
Nice to see you too. Thank you so much.
The last time we talked, it was on the 2-year anniversary of the war in eastern Ukraine, about a mile from Russian forces on the front lines. A lot different environment here without artillery coming and going. As this has developed since I last saw you 6 months ago, how has the war changed in your view?
Thank you so much. Can I ask? Can I answer
Sure.
Ukrainian?
Ideally, English is an English crowd, but we love it.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's right. Thank you so much. As I said already, that in Kharkiv, it was a very difficult situation. Putin wanted very much to occupy that quickly. Thank you so much for the decision, bipartisan decision on the package. And it was it was very important for us, this package in Congress, to equip our brigades. But always we have this challenge that from the moment of decision to the moment of equipment, you need much time. And of course, Putin understood and understands. So he has this information. He wanted to use this pause in more than half a year pause in Congress with decision. That's why he wanted to occupy quickly Kharkiv, where 1,500,000 people live now, very near to the border, but they live. He attacks them each day because he wants to make a chaos there and push people to run out. That is the goal for him. He did it at the very beginning of the war. He did it. He tried to do it with a capital. We people stood strong. And that's why we saved our capital. I think in our country. And so he tried. Coming back to your question. So he tried to occupy Kharkiv. We lost some villages which are through the border, our border, but people, God bless, people have been saved, and we took people away, and all people, pensioners, different people. I mean, that's because you know that he's not looking like yesterday, the day before yesterday, he attacked, and it doesn't matter for him whom to kill, soldier or a child, civilians, doesn't matter. That's why, of course, we moved people from these villages, and he didn't have success. God bless and help, and also our soldiers, of course, first of all, our heroic guys. So we stopped them. He couldn't do. He lost a lot of people. I'm speaking about thousands, thousands of people. So the price of this operation for him was very high. So that is what been changed after our last meeting. Yes. And on the east, situation is difficult. We're still waiting for some equipment to equip brigades. So as I said, really, it's not a secret. We have 14th Brigade, which are till now not equipped. Yeah, so that's why we don't use them. But I hope that everything will come, especially after NATO Summit. We'll have some additional packages with air defense and etc. So that is situation shortly. You see, maybe in Ukrainian, I can answer shortly. If you want,
I like this. This is good. I do want to say that we're all really saddened by those devastating attacks, especially on the Children's Hospital in Kyiv. And I can hear in your voice how much it hit you, especially as a father?
No. For me, it's, it's always for everybody. I think it's very sensitive. I'm the father, I'm the president, I'm a human. Yeah, so it's so difficult. It's so difficult to lose people. It's so difficult and to lose children. And of course, you see these people, you see parents, and when their children are dying or dead, so it's you want to kill Putin at this moment. And of course, all of us, we want it very much, really, because he's not. I think that he's not. At this moment, maybe he's drinking something. He's not thinking. For him, it doesn't. For him, it doesn't matter what in Ukraine. So the attack was, what is the tragedy? It was not attack on some, military object or something like this, and something was not good with a missile or something. No, the missile was exactly to the hospital. It's not the first time, and that's why. So you have such emotions.
Do you think that it was meant to strike the day before the start of the NATO Summit?
NATO, that is signal. That's his signal to the world, to all the people. That the signal to NATO countries, to all our allies. This is the signal. He will live this way, and he will do this way.
Last year, during the early part of this year, your air defenses were defeating about 80% of the Russian air attacks. And I know the air defense systems, as you mentioned, are arriving after this 6-month delay. But I'm wondering if you're able to return to defeating as much of the Russian air attack as with the systems as you were once doing, now that these new systems are on the way.
So, again, thank you very much for the decision of these additional 5 systems of Patriots. If they will help, they will help, of course. It's not enough. It's never enough. And you saw the result, attacks on Kiev, on the capital, which this defended well. So, but you saw that this is not enough. And it can be enough. And these 5 systems will help a lot, but it will not be enough. Because that we have to understand that the Russian army, they learn, they study each day. They're trying to attack systems, to destroy Patriots. They don't have success in it for today, but it's not enough. They use different missiles, different drones, ballistic, etc. So and we have not also to stay just at the same place. We also have to move to make strong steps with air defense, different kinds, more than one, and etc. So,
yeah, you're hopeful. But let me ask you this: the U.S. though continues to restrict the U.S. ATACMS from firing at targets inside Russia, and restricting the long-range U.S. HIMARS from firing inside Russia unless an attack is imminent on Kyiv. Can you just provide the audience here some sense or some understanding of what these restrictions mean for your forces and their challenges as a result to conduct an effective campaign against Russia? Some of these bases, air bases, include the one that launched the attack on the Children's Hospital yesterday.
yes. So, okay, of course, we have permission to use HIMARS through the border, especially on Kharkiv, east and north of the country. Is it enough? Of course not. It's only a little number of those troops and bases which from where Russia uses missiles and from where Russia attacks us each day. For example, if you take the example of Kharkiv, So they attack they use per month 3,500 guided aerial bombs. 3,500. Do we have, of course, can we use Patriots or something similar? For example, yes. But can we? No. Because we don't have so many missiles. And the world doesn't have possibility to use 3,500 missiles of Patriots just to defend it. That's why you can't use such weapon against it. How they use these guided bombs? Using jets, where the jets stay on their bases. Do we know these bases? Yes. Do we know all of them? Yes.
Would you want to strike them?
Yes.
But you're not being allowed to.
But we can't. But somebody except us have to say yes. Jets stay on the distance from our border from 150 kilometers to 1,000, but mostly what is very important, from 150 to 500 kilometers. That means that if we have this very special weapon, some of them we have, and if we can use it on the territory of Russia, especially on these military targets, if we can do it, of course, we can defend civilians, hospitals, schools, children. We can do it. Because the guided bomb is the difference between guided bomb and missiles. Of course, missiles can go 2,000 kilometers, yes. But thousands, they don't have thousands of missiles, but they have thousands of such guided bombs. And guided bombs, they can use 100 kilometers. That is the answer. If we can use such weapon on the distance to, as I said, from 100 to 500, we can manage this problem and children will live, will be alive.
Are the restrictions also, you can't strike inside Crimea?
I hope no,
But you don't know?
but I don't know. Because to say to you honestly, and I have to do it, so we can't use everything. Everything, you will understand my English, yes.
Yes.
We can't use everything and everywhere in Crimea. You understand?
Let me ask you another question about Crimea.
Yeah, please.
Will you negotiate with Putin over Crimea if it would end the war?
He will never stop. I think he will love this idea very much. Because he need both in this war. He need both. That's why I said he's waiting for November. Maybe the policy in the United States maybe will change. I hope that it will never change. And it's very important for him to understand and to know it depends only on decision of American people. It doesn't depend on any one person. You understand? That's why he's always waiting how to divide world, how to divide America, how to divide 8 different countries in Europe. He afraid of unity, and he needs pauses. To speak about Crimea, that the pause he need. He had Crimea. He occupied it in 2014 Crimea. Did he finish? No. Did he stop? No. Then he occupied Donbass. Now he's speaking that he needs Crimea and Donbass, and that's all. He's a liar because he had it before full-scale invasion. He had it, especially Crimea and Donbass, the part of Donbass.
towards November.
Yeah.
How closely are you following the day-to-day politics here in Washington and in the U.S.?
I think sometimes we are closer than you, Brett. We had to do it. We know a lot of things, not everything. Yes, and of course, it's not about our any messages to be influential. No, this is the choice of American people, and we respect it, of course. But we are trying to understand what will be, because our people, all the changes in the United States. If they will have one or another direction, if the direction will not change, or if something will change, our people, they're afraid, because you have to know that you are the biggest strategic partner of Ukraine, the biggest and the first one who helped us at the very beginning of the war. Because at the very, very beginning, we've been alone, and it was very difficult to us to survive. We did it, and then your help, and after your messages with your help, was very strong message to Europeans. And you joined them, and it was very important. That's why, of course, we have to understand what's going on.
Yeah. So obviously, there's a lot of focus since the last debate on whether you and other leaders have confidence fully in President Biden's mental capability of handling national security crises and the war in Ukraine. I'm not going to ask specifics about that, but I want to turn it to how do you think Vladimir Putin views President Biden, and how do you think Vladimir Putin views former President Trump?
Putin.
Yeah.
So you mean that what is his attitude to Biden and what his attitude to Trump?
From your point of view.
He doesn't love America. And he hates Ukraine. And because he hates democracy. And Biden and Trump are very different, but they are supportive democracy. And that's why I think Putin will hate both of them. I think so. But I think that both of them have to understand it, not to count on his attitude. Because the GDP of United States 10 times bigger than Russia. And it means that you can't attitude to Putin as he is a partner. He's small, really small. But when we afraid him, he began to be bigger. And that is the mistake of all the West, including us, including the United States. That is the mistake that during the last 25 or how many years he is Putin. So we always gave messages, all the West gave messages that he is the partner, he is the big, he is the leader.
The Biden administration has put restrictions on you as far as what you can do. Are you fearful of a Trump administration and what that means for you in this war? Do you fear former President Trump, if he's president again, would pull out of NATO? Do you fear like that everything would shut down as far as support for the U.S., for the Ukraine war?
I don't know who will be the president of the United States.
Neither do we.
Yeah. I hope that that United States will never go out from the NATO. Otherwise, the world will lose a lot of countries, because such people like Putin, we will lose small countries which count on America in NATO, American leadership, we will lose Baltic, Poland, and other countries which are very sensitive to this topic. And I hope that United States will never seriously think to go out from NATO. I think so, but it's not my decision. I'm just sharing with you my thoughts. And I hope that if people of America will vote for President Trump, I hope that his policy with Ukraine will not change.
You don't think he can solve it in one day?
I don't know very well him. I don't know. I had meetings with him, and we had good meetings when he was the president, but we didn't went. I don't know. Maybe I'm not right in English, but we didn't went through the war with him. And only during the war you have to understand: can you count on somebody or not? Because even me, I had a lot of in Ukraine, I had a lot of friends. At the very beginning of the war, some of them, we lost some of them. We lost them because they found another land for them. It's their choice, but this is, there's, during the war, another situation. You face another situation, very difficult, very challenging period. That's why I can't tell you, that's what he will do. If he will be the president of the United States, I don't know. That's why I wanted very much. I heard his messages, and some messages yesterday in Twitter, yeah. They've been very with questions. That's why sometimes we need answers. For us, it's very important to hold the situation in Ukraine on a high level of morality of our people, not to lose unity through the people, not to lose unity through the partners. That's why sometimes these messages also beat us and divide us. That's why we're afraid of some risks.
Right. And I asked you this when I was there about, the population in the US that feels like we've spent too much money and we're doing too much. And we talked about that when I was on the border. Right now, is the goal still to take back all of Ukraine to the 1991 borders? Is that still the goal today? Or could you see a negotiated settlement that ends this war for you and your people?
The best way, of course, after the first peace summit, to organize and prepare the plan and to organize during some months the second summit and have this document and to put Putin by majority of the world, to put him and to push him to stop the war. This is the best way. And when we speak about territories, you have to know that, first of all, of course, we need to save people, nations. And that's why, and of course, we are not NATO members. We don't have such, umbrella. And that's why we need Putin to lose. We don't want him to be on our territory because anyway, it's a frozen conflict. And it will depend on years when he will prepare and come back again with invasion. He will do it. You understand?
So yeah, of course, the Munich agreement didn't work. 1938, and a potential agreement you're saying with Putin may not work.
The document with Hitler didn't work. Why it has to work second time? I don't know. I think he loves the process. That's the problem. He loves the process. It doesn't matter what occupied. He loves the process and the process, and this is his history, and he will do it to one country or another to occupation, whether military occupation or political occupation of Belarus, like he did it already, to divide Georgia, and for today to begin, and he really began to change their direction from EU direction again back to Russia. Now he's doing. We love Georgian people very much, and I hope that it will not be this way. It will not finish this way. But he loves this process. So it doesn't matter when. The question is who can stop him.
Two more things. President